Hey everybody, welcome to Drive Thru Review 184. Today I'm going to talk about 8-Minute Empire. This is from Red Raven Games. It doesn't take 8 minutes. It says it takes 8 minutes or so on the back of the box. It takes about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. You can get through it really quickly. You could probably get this down to 15 minutes, once you get the hang of it. So it's basically like a civilization game, like way abstracted down. You basically move armies out and collect goods, and that's it. So let me just stop the preamble and then I will tell you a little bit about how it works. So 8-Minute Empire is a very small and compact game, and I should say that the timing of this review is not on purpose, but the sequel to this game, 8-Minute Empire Legends, is actually on Kickstarter right now. So I will tell you right up front that I do enjoy the game, so if you have any inclination, you can get this game on Amazon.com only, I believe, right now. And then if it seems like something really cool, you could go back to the Kickstarter campaign for the sequel. The game comes with a small set of cubes and 3 wooden discs for each player and a player color. There's also an assortment of coins that are used to buy cards in the game as well as bid on turn order. And then there's a small deck of cards that players will draft for either or both an action and a good that they will collect for scoring at the end of the game. My particular copy comes with 2 boards. Normally when you buy the game you only get 1 board, but they're both double-sided. There is a bonus board that you can get that has a map of Europe on one side, and then there's also another board on the back of that with some special rules. And I should say that I believe that this sequel is going to be compatible, at least to some degree, with the first game, so you can kind of mix and match boards and the deck of cards from either game, etc. To set up the game, you're going to choose your board, put it in the center of the table, and then the rules mention this as an advanced variant, but I just play with this every single time, is you can take random goods tokens and then put them on little areas on the board. Each board has a little triangle on some of the areas, and you can randomly put a goods token there, and that will add on to any goods you've collected through cards. And each player is going to take a set of wooden pieces in their color. They're going to get a certain amount of money based on the number of players in the game. And then you're going to find the start area on the map, and each player is going to put 3 cubes, and these represent armies. And so you're going to put 3 cubes there in the start space. So to start every game, you're going to have 1 round of blind bidding, and that's just to see who goes first. So everybody's going to take a certain amount of coins they have in their hand, and then they're going to reveal them. Whoever has the most is going to be able to choose first, and they're going to go first. Now the coins that you get at the beginning of the game are all the coins you're going to get through the entire game, so you need to keep that in mind as well. Now on a player's turn, they're going to choose from one of 6 available cards in display there. So a player will choose a card either for the good that it represents or the action that's depicted on the bottom, or both. Maybe both will be beneficial to them. After you choose a card, you take the action, you keep the card in front of you, and you're just going to play a certain number of rounds based on the number of players. Now you can see the cost of the cards is going to vary. If you look at the leftmost cards, that one will be free, whereas you work your way to the right, it's going to show you an increasing number of gold coins that's going to cost you to buy the card. So you may want to sort of preemptively, grab a card that maybe is useful for everybody or other players beside yourself, and really take and try to steal that card with your limited supply of money. So if we look more closely at the cards, we can see that they represent a good at the top of the card, and it's going to tell you how many points you're going to get at the end of the game for the amount of good. So if you have 2 of a certain good, you're going to get X number of points all the way up to like 5 of a certain kind of good. It'll give you some more points. And then the bottom of the card has a little strip, and that's going to tell you what action you can choose to do if you want. You don't have to do the action. So there's a variety of actions. Let's take a look at the first one here. So if it just has some cubes sitting on the card, that basically means you can place more armies onto the board. You can either place them in the start area, or you can place them where you have a city, which is represented by the wooden discs. You can place them in there as well. And you can place them anywhere legally. You can place one in one spot, one in the other, or whatever you feel like it. The next thing you can do is move armies. So you can move armies up to the number of cubes shown next to the arrow. And again, you can move, 1 army a bunch of spaces. You can move, multiple armies 1 space, or any kind of combination therein. If the card has cubes with an arrow and a ship, then you can move them across land, or if you want, you can move them across one of the little dotted lines over ocean spaces. And you can't move across the ocean space unless it has a ship on the card. Next thing you can do here is build a city, and if you want to build a city, basically you can just put a wooden disc where you have any army. It doesn't matter how many, or if there are other opponent armies there, you can just put the disc there, and then later you can, put more armies, recruit more armies into that space in addition to the start space and any other cities that you have on the board. Some cards will let you do multiple actions. This last card here, we can see a cube with a line through it. That basically means you can just remove somebody's army off the board. So like I said, you're just going to play till each player's had a certain number of turns. So like in a 2-player game, you'll play 13 turns. In a 5-player game, you'll play 7 turns. And at the end of the game, you're going to look at 2 things. You're going to look at the areas on the board that you control. So if there's a tie in the number of pieces there, you include the cities as well as armies when counting control. If there's a tie, nobody gets any points for that. But if you have majority in a spot, you'll get 1 point for each little region depicted, by the borders. And then you're going to look at the separate continents on the board, and whoever has the most regions that they control is going to get a bonus point for having the majority of regions within a specific continent. And again, the different maps are going to have different layouts and things like that. And then you're going to take a look at any regions that have the special goods tokens there, and whoever has the majority there will be able to take the good token and add it to their supply. At that point, you're going to take and look at all the cards that you have. You're going to look at the different types. You're going to maybe add the good tokens into the count of that type, and then you're going to see how many points you score, based on basically the set of each of the types of goods that you've collected. And that's pretty much the game. You're going to choose a card, move some cubes around, try to collect different sets of the different goods. Some goods are a little bit more rare. Some you need to have like more of the goods to get a lot more points. Like the carrots, for example, you need 8, I think, to get 5 points, etc. So it's a really fun game. It's very, very simple, very, very light. You can play it, like I said, in 20 minutes. But I like that there's a little bit of a system being built here. And I kind of had that impression just from playing the basic game here. You got basically 4 different maps. You can set up different ways. One of the maps has a different little bit of a rule change where it's a bunch of different islands, and then you can pay $1 in addition to taking a card that lets you move goods or cubes. I'm sorry, and you can actually turn that into sort of a ship movement. So normally you need a ship card to move across the ocean, but since there's so many islands, there's a little bit of management there that you have to think about with your money to be able to spend and increase, make those movement cards basically equal to ship travel. So that's kind of cool. So I think it kind of reminds me in a sense of like Steam or Age of Industry, where you've got different maps with little tweaks to the rules that you can basically revisit the game again and again. And not to preview the Kickstarter or nothing, but that game is going to have cards with goods as also with special abilities. If you get certain cards, you maybe won't be able to be attacked, or other different kinds of special abilities, and you can use those cards with the base game here. And it plays quick and it's fun, and it does kind of feel a little bit thematic with spreading your armies around. There's not a whole lot of attacking and stuff, but I mean the real sort of interaction is the sort of denial and the card drafting part of it, and taking a card that's going to let you play 6 guys on the board versus the one that only lets you place 3 or move 6 guys or something. So anyway, it's really fun. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot here, but I quite enjoy it, and I'm definitely looking forward to the next one. I backed that one on Kickstarter as well. So anyway, 8-Man Empire, it's great, it's a good filler, and so anyway, take a look at it. Thanks.